Just tell her I can't hear singing in the background.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As we welcome you once again to another edition of News and Views, and we are coming to you live from the IEC Results Operational Centre in Pretoria once again this morning, as we welcome our listeners at Salam Media on the various platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, also our listeners at Al Ansar in Durban, Pietermaritzburg, and also ITV viewers this morning. We welcome you to the show. It is the day when the results are starting to trickle in. Yesterday was voting day, and with just well over 1 million votes that have been counted. We have the leaderboard behind us. We will be keeping our eye on the leaderboard, tracking the results as they filter through. And at this point in time, just looking at the numbers and what the numbers are telling us, we are seeing a pattern that is starting to emerge. The ANC was close on to 46% of the votes. The EFF around 8%, and we've got the DA, which is around 26%, and the Freedom Front Plus around 4%. Now, these results possibly could change throughout the entire day as the numbers start coming through. But what is also important to understand is looking at this pattern that is emerging, coming against a background of voter apathy. Now, we heard yesterday close on to 30% of voters having voted of the 26 million voters that have been registered in South Africa. So just around 8 million voters that have voted. And this is an area of concern as to why there is voter apathy. And we heard about long queues, looking at service delivery issues, people queuing up for water. Now, these queues were much longer than people that were queuing up to vote as well. So that tells us a picture of where we are as far as local government in South Africa. Now, what we are doing during the course of the morning is we're going to be talking to a number of people, and having been down on the floor, we see many of the political parties, their presence is being felt. We see there are many people at the desk as well, and also analysts that have been coming through. So throughout the day, we will be talking to a number of people off the floor. We've seen party leaders also coming through this morning. So when we come back from this break, we are going to be joined by somebody, in fact, Voter Wessels from the Freedom Front Plus. He'll be joining us, and together with parties like the FF, we will be talking to a number of political parties this morning to provide us with an insight, with an analysis on how they see the results, how they see the election, ultimately how it is basically going to pan out, and just looking at local government in South Africa, a critical aspect. And this is where you and I, because this is where it matters, this is where it affects us, the consequences of having a local ward councillor to take care of issues on a local level. But more importantly, it is also a reflection on where we are as a country, as in the political landscape of the country at large in South Africa. But right now, we are going for a break. Stay with us.
Claims the life of a child. Unsafe water is having a devastating global impact on health and livelihoods. Islamic Relief is at the forefront, providing clean and safe water to vulnerable communities around the world. Our tailored approach to sustainable water solutions enable families not just to survive, but to thrive, ensuring they stay healthy and safe. Give water, give life with Islamic Relief.
Looking to get your kick? Kiki's have now reopened on 235 Matthews Maiwa Road in Durban. Head on over for the Taste with Kick. We offer something scrumptious for everyone in the family. Wraps, chicken tikka, burgers, tender grills, mocktails, milkshakes, and so much more. Corporate and events catering available. Visit our social media pages for more info or call 031 209 0119. Kiki's, the Taste with Kick.
For your convenience, the Africa Muslims Agency's Durban office has moved to 797 Jan Smuts Highway, Sherwood, Durban. Our friendly staff are eagerly awaiting to receive, advise, and share with you the current ongoing campaigns and projects that you have been supporting for the last 35 years. Visit us at 797 Jan Smuts Highway, Sherwood, or call 031 207 5676. Africa Muslims Agency, inspiring the spirit of giving.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic, Sharia, and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
These days, I'm more health conscious than ever. So tonight it's stir fry for dinner, cooked in healthy Helios pure sunflower cooking oil. Helios is pure sunflower goodness, packed with omega-6. That's good for your heart and is approved as part of the Heart and Stroke Foundation eating plan. Dinner's ready! Helios, pure sunflower cooking oil. A healthy family is a happy one.
After all these years, millions of Syrian refugees and displaced persons are still struggling to get adequate food and nutrition. Since 2014, the Al-Imdad Foundation's Flour for Syria campaign has provided daily bread to these Syrians. For just 5,000 Rand, you can sponsor 1 ton of flour and ensure that 10,000 pita loaves are delivered to desperate Syrian communities. Part donations are also accepted. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
DuziMed Medicine Depot Retail Pharmacy and Emergency Medical Depot, conveniently situated in the DuziMed Medical Centre, Corner Burger and Boshoff Street, Pietermaritzburg. We provide safe, affordable and convenient medical facilities, open till 10 p.m. every day of the year. We have a full-house clinic that operates from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., which is run by a qualified sister. The clinic offers immunization, vaccination, wellness, general consultation, and more. Call DuziMed Medicine Depot on 033 3421 DuziMed Medicine Depot, your pharmacy of choice.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media. Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity
which
sets the
means
agenda.
that it's early days, but we've already officially won 3 awards. All 3 of them are awards that we didn't have previously. So it's awards that we now won off other parties. And we are excited about that. We are growing. If we compare
You stepped inside his
in
home.
each case, in each VD polling station, we've grown since 2016, and that is the comparison that one should make. So we are sustaining our growth.
Yes, I think what is interesting is to look at what has happened in 2016 versus comparatively where we are at this point in time. And the last few years, we've seen just so much happen in the political landscape, but also at the same time looking at local government and what has been taking place in local government. And this is where I think people are obviously looking at other political options and political homes where a number of their issues, day-to-day bread and butter issues, can be addressed.
I think so, and also the low voter turnout of yesterday does also indicate the fact that a lot of people are dissatisfied with service delivery. Unfortunately, they did not go out and vote for an alternative, but a lot of other people did go out. We succeeded to get our voters at the polling stations, so did other parties, and I think the governing party in most municipalities failed to do that, and we already 2 municipalities that's completely counted, one in the Northern Cape and one in Gauteng, is hung councils. There's no party with a majority, so that is the future. There's going to be a lot of municipalities where there will have to be multi-party governments, which will be to the benefit of the communities out there.
Yes, has the pandemic affected your campaign in any way whatsoever?
Well, it has made it complicated. We've all suffered COVID cases in our families, but also in our offices, staff members suffering from COVID, so that did complicate it. And then with lockdown, with restrictions, it made it difficult. But a campaign is much more than just electioneering. It's also about 5 years since 2016, where your councillors should prove that they can deliver services and that they deliver on the promises made. And I think that is where we succeeded, that we're not only a party of empty promises, but actually a party which do deliver and which does serve the interest of the community.
Well, absolutely, that delivery is key, and also in terms of having the right fit, basically having the right people in the job, because I think this is where one of the biggest problems are, and we've seen it over and over again, where we've seen many municipalities right across the entire country being given negative reports in terms of audits and the like as well. And in many instances, we find that they don't have the capacity, they don't have the skills to basically do the job. And I think this is where a lot of focus has been, and I've spoken to some of the other political parties, especially the smaller ones, where they're looking at the right fit, the right person for the job.
No, the other problem is officials on municipal level. 43% of municipal officials do not have the required competencies to do the job. 48% of chief financial officers do not have the required qualifications. That's why we are in the financial state that we are in. That's why services are not being delivered. And then we're paying consultants. South African municipalities are paying more than R1 billion a year. Additionally to the more than 4.96 billion which are paid on salaries for financial directorate staff, we are paying to consultants to do the jobs of officials, but they can't do the job. So one of the things we are saying is appoint officials on merit, regardless of skin color, regardless of cadre deployment or political affiliation. Appoint the best person who can get service delivery going.
Do you find the political agenda on a national level overshadowing local government, and in many instances when one looks at some of the bigger parties as well, in terms of subscribing to a national political agenda rather focusing on local issues?
Well, we said this election is a municipal election. It's about service delivery. Firstly, if you go and look at our manifesto, we say identify the problems, then identify the causes of the problems, and then the solutions. And we focused on, and our whole theme of the election was to stop the decay on local government level. And that is to appoint the correct officials, to stop the pollution of the environment, to get the economy going, to create jobs by getting the economy going, by investing in infrastructure and all of that local issues. A lot of parties focused on land and on things that's not within the scope of local government. And I think there's a lot of voters that chose us as the alternative because we focused on local issues and said, let's address VAT decay, because that is in the interest of communities to get service delivery going.
Yes, Walter, just finally, I know it's early hours since the results have started to trickle in, well over 1 million votes that have been counted already. You are at this point in time just over 8%. Are you happy with where you are at this point in time, or what would the ideal be?
We are happy, and like I said, there's certain wards that we've won officially, but we also know about other wards that our agents on the ground has already before it has captured, given us the results, and we've retained one of our wards in the northwest at this stage. We've won one in the Western Cape, which we didn't previously have. So we are growing, especially in Tshwane as well. If you go and look at a comparison, then we are growing, and we will have significantly more councillors in the metros than we had in 2016.
Well, voters, thank you very much, and also taking time out from the floor and talking to us here on Salam Media. All the best to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Walter Wessels joining us this morning in studio, and we're going to go for a break, and we're going to bring you a lot more from the IEC Results Centre, where we will be talking to a number of analysts and political personalities that will be converging at the IEC Results Operational Centre this morning.
Durban, KwaZulu-Natal has been the hardest hit by the recent civil unrest. Hundreds of supermarkets, factories and warehouses have been looted and destroyed. Thousands have lost their jobs and are in need of food and household supplies. Penny Appeal South Africa is currently on the ground working with communities to provide essential items to those severely affected. Donate toward the Penny Appeal Hardship Fund today and assist us in caring for families for a 3-month period with essentials and assistance to small businesses affected by the devastating effects of the unrest. Help us help our city. www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 11 00 573. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
What makes Randery Jewelers the optimum place for your memorable gift? Is it our range of exclusive, high-end, luxurious jewellery? Or is it our master craftsmanship of all your bespoke jewellery needs? We believe it's because at Randery Jewelers, we know just how to make your special moments last forever. Whether it's for a wedding, anniversary, or just a simple gift to show your love. Trust Randery Jewelers to make it special. www.randeryjewelers.com. Make your moments last forever with Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
The SANZAF Meals Distribution Project distributes over 85,000 meals monthly. With your assistance, we would like to increase our outreach to even more individuals. Sponsor a meal for as little as 12 Rand or sign up for a debit order from 48 Rand monthly. Visit us at sanzaf.org.za or call us on 011 834 6046 for more information. SANZAF, changing lives through development and relief.
Babu, why don't you loosen your belt a bit more?
But why now?
Well, it's very tight, blocking air to your brain.
Haju, this is only a start. I need to tighten up a bit more. Funds are tight and the cost of living is high.
Funds are not tight. It's your haram insurance which is tightening our barakat.
Okay, Haju. I will call my insurance friend tomorrow.
Maybe I must tighten up on my cooking from now on too.
No, Haju, we don't need to tighten up. It's okay. Look, I'm even throwing away my belt.
Don't tighten your belt. Change your insurance. Leaving Riba Insurance is easier than you think. Call Amana IFS for all your personal and commercial takaful needs. 0861 786 393. Amana. Leave Riba for good.
Amana IFS is a registered financial services provider. Osman's Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal have been perfecting the art of the perfect blend of spices, pure, aromatic, and well-seasoned. Spices to tantalize your taste buds. From creative cuisines to gastronomical gourmet goodies. From exotic odors to traditional dishes, Osman's Taj Mahal have remained synonymous with quality spices and condiments. Taj Mahal rice, beans, and lentils. Try our range of chili bite mixes, rose and ilachi syrup, our quick and easy biryani pack, and our traditional range of spice blends. Osman's Taj Mahal. There is no substitute for quality.
I've been waiting.
Gift of the Needy is working tirelessly to bring relief and hope to families burdened by poverty and distress. Our ongoing projects include aid to those affected and
Davi, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Oh, I can hear you clearly and we can see you as well. How are you doing, Davi?
I'm fantastic, thank you. How are you doing, sir?
Great stuff. Yeah, we're at the IEC Election Centre actually. So it's a buzz here, hive of activity.
Okay, tell me, what are the analysts saying? What's the big surprise so far?
Well, at this point in time, look, results are just still trickling in, and we've just basically got started with the broadcast. So we will be talking to some of the analysts, but the pattern at this point in time, I think, is pretty much similar to what we've seen in the past as well. You know, possibly we'll find some of the smaller parties making some ground. The ANC is just under around 46%, the DA around 27%. So, you know, those are the big numbers at this.
Is your voice.
This is Salam Media. Voice for humanity. Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
The time is just gone 8:34 a.m. as we continue with news and views this morning, coming to you on the various platforms of Salam Media, Al Ansar, Durban, Pietermaritzburg, and also on ITV this morning. And we are coming to you live from the IEC Results Operational Centre in Pretoria. We will keep you updated with developments and as the results start trickling in. But one issue which is of major concern is inflation in South Africa, the weaker rand, and we've just heard about high petrol prices. Now, obviously, this is of major concern. It's of worry to many of us here in South Africa. And this morning, we're joined by Becky Caesar's Editor-in-Chief and Executive Director, Davi Ruud. Davi, good morning to you and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much and good morning to you.
Yes, Davi, I know you are obviously interested in keeping an eye on the outcome of the elections as well, because it does mean a lot for the country on many levels and on a financial, economic level as well. And where we are at this point in time against the background of these elections that have taken place, we're still in a very serious situation as far as the economy goes, and the weaker rand, the high petrol price is not making things easier.
Now, the South African economy is in very deep trouble. At the moment, the South African economy, if you look at the bigger numbers, the economy is actually doing quite well. But there's many technical reasons for that. A very important reason is because last year was such a horrible year. This year, only with a bit of economic growth, will look much, much better. So economists call that so-called base effect. And secondly, the reason why the economy is doing well this year as well has to do with the commodity cycle. So commodity prices are quite nice and high. And South Africa is a major commodity exporting country, as we know. So the improvement in the economy that we're currently seeing is quite patchy. And for the rest of the economy, I'm afraid to say things are not looking that good. And next year, I expect economic growth around about 2% or significantly, or even below 2%. And it's not only me, it's the World Bank and even the South African Reserve Bank also expects quite weak economic growth next year. And I think what's also important to understand is that the South African economy has been doing very, very badly for the most of the past, say, 10 years or so. And in fact, we have been getting poorer on a per capita basis for most of the past 10 years.
Is transport prices, and they've been increasing quite phenomenally year on year, and the main contributor obviously has been the weaker rand and the high petrol price, and just looking at commodity prices in general.
Yes, well, in general, commodity prices are, well, it's a two-sided sword, of course. For South Africa, it's very good to have high commodity prices because we're exporting a lot of commodities. Unfortunately, South Africa's most important import product is oil. So we import a lot of oil. So high commodity prices is good on the one hand, but quite bad on the other hand. Additionally, for South Africa is a very big country. Many things are being transported on road, which is very unfortunate. We should be putting things on trains, but many things are transported on road. Our currency is relatively weak, currently around about 15.5 or so to the US dollar. And the international oil price, as you've said, is quite high at the moment. The combination of those two factors then led to an increase, or will lead to a substantial increase in the petrol price and the diesel price on Wednesday. And that, I'm afraid to say, will add to the inflationary pressures in South Africa. Talking about inflation, remember, demand in the economy is quite weak. So that means that companies cannot pass on price increases in the economy. In simple terms, what it means is that it's not that easy to simply increase prices in the South African economy. So, but that's unfortunately a bad reason, because of weak demand in the economy. But the reality is that we import a lot of oil. Oil prices are high and the currency is relatively weak. Maybe I can just add to that, and that is that I think currently the rand is actually holding up not too badly, but I'm very, very concerned about this commodity cycle. And if the commodity cycle slightly weakens, then the rand can suddenly depreciate quite sharply against the US dollar, for example. So if you think we're paying a lot for petrol now, wait when the rand really goes south, and then the petrol price is going to go up even further.
Comparatively speaking, and looking at the pandemic, COVID-19, and how other economies are emerging or recovering from COVID-19, and looking at where we are at this point in time, how is South Africa doing from a recovery perspective, particularly with the disastrous impact on the economy as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic?
I would actually call it because of the result of the lockdown. Of course, the lockdown was because of the virus, but I think the way that our government handled the lockdown was wrong at many aspects. Well, if you compare South Africa to other countries in the world, then I'm afraid we're not doing that well. Many other countries, and I'm talking about big countries in the world, I'm talking about the Americans and the Chinese and the Europeans, they are big economies. And those economies actually grow very, very strongly. And theoretically, a small economy like ours is supposed to rebound quite quickly, or quicker than the bigger economies. And there are many reasons why our economy is not improving as quickly as the other economies. One reason has to do with the stimulus that was provided to some of the other economies in the world. And the reason why we did not get a similar kind of stimulus in South Africa simply is because we don't have the capacity. We don't have dry ammunition to support the South African economy, mostly because of the mismanagement of the fiscal accounts in the past. But if you compare South Africa to most other countries in the world, then I'm afraid we're not performing that well.
And as always, we do appreciate your time with us here on Asala Media. All the best to you, sir. Please take care. Chief Economist at Becky Sisa are joining us this morning. David Wood, against the background of higher oil prices, a weaker rand, and just the general state of the South African economy as to where we are and where we are heading. We're going to go for another ad break. We'll come back and bring you a lot more analysis from the IEC Results Operational Centre this morning.
Silent pandemic claims the life of a child. Unsafe water is having a devastating global impact on health and livelihoods. Islamic Relief is at the forefront, providing clean and safe water to vulnerable communities around the world. Our tailored approach to sustainable water solutions enable families not just to survive, but to thrive, ensuring they stay healthy and safe. Give water, give life with Islamic Relief.
Looking to get your kick? Kiki's have now reopened on 235 Matthews Maiwa Road in Durban. Head on over for the Taste with Kick. We offer something scrumptious for everyone in the family. Wraps, chicken tikka, burgers, tender grills, mocktails, milkshakes, and so much more. Corporate and events catering available. Visit our social media pages for more info or call 031 209 0119. Kiki's, the Taste with Kick.
Reliable access to clean water could save thousands of lives each day. With proper sanitation and easy access to fresh, clean water, communities can flourish. Our Thirst Relief Appeal provides clean water to communities in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East by building deep wells and providing sustainable water and hygiene solutions. A monthly donation of as little as 700 Rand could build a well for a community in need. That's only 23 Rand a day. Donate today. www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 11 00 573. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
These days, I'm more health conscious than ever. So tonight, it's stir fry for dinner. Cooked in healthy Helios pure sunflower cooking oil. Helios is pure sunflower goodness, packed with omega-6. That's good for your heart. And is approved as part of the Heart and Stroke Foundation eating plan. Dinner's ready! Helios, pure sunflower cooking oil. A healthy family is a happy one.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
As the crisis in Palestine continues, the Africa Muslims Agency teams are on the ground facilitating emergency food and medical assistance to the affected families. Donate 15,000 Rand or any amount and help the people of Palestine. Call AMA now on 083-251-9376 or donate online at africamuslimsagency.co.za. Africa Muslims Agency, inspiring the spirit of giving.
With up to 97% of Gaza's water supply unfit for human consumption, desalinated water is the only hope to avoid catastrophe. The Al-Imdad Foundation has been operating desalination plants and delivering safe water in the Gaza Strip since 2014. Help us continue providing clean, safe drinking water in Gaza by donating your lila or sadaqah today. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
On the 1st of November 2021, Mzansi heads to the polls.
Stay tuned and in touch as Salam Media brings you the latest news and insights on your local government elections, live from various voting stations.
Be sure to exercise your right and vote wisely, because your vote makes a difference.
Remember, your vote is your voice.
This is Salam Media. Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Still and pretty much the same as it was at around 7:30 this morning, but it is a slow process. It's going to be a long process, and I'm sure by the end of today and the latest tomorrow we will have a complete picture as to how the local government elections have gone. But right now, joining me in studio from the African Transformation Movement, we're joined by Nyaniso Jeku. Nyaniso, good morning to you, and thank you taking time out from the floor and talking to us this morning.
Good morning, and thank you very much.
Yes, just your initial reaction looking at the elections and how things have basically gone for the ATM.
Well, of course, there isn't much to read at the moment because the results are still slowly coming in. I think it's just above 1 million that has been tallied so far. Of the 10 million we are told was the overall voter turnout, which is very low from the 26.2 that was registered. I mean, that was also low, down from about 40 million people who are eligible to vote in this country. That is a much more serious problem we're faced with. And obviously there were some problems which we have not really quite grasped well what was the cause, because the voters are telling us something else from the ground, and then IEC comes and put up a defense in as far as why. For instance, queues were very long and they moved very slowly, something which was attributed to either the system not recognizing registered voters and eventually registered voters having to be turned away because they were not appearing on the system, or they were appearing on the VMD and not appearing on the ballot, on the voters roll. So those were other issues as well that we were experiencing yesterday as part of the problems that we experienced. But most importantly, it's evident and quite clear that the turnout is very low, and that alone means problems for South Africa, because you've got a country that is in excess of 60 million in terms of its citizens, having to be decided by a few on who should govern the municipalities going forward. Now, the very same people who do not turn out to vote, at least those who did not come, could tell you that they are either despondent or not happy that they keep voting. Some have been saying they keep voting and there is no difference. But that tells us there's much more voter education that is needed in the country, and that can't be done by political parties, because when a political party comes to any voter, a voter thinks this person is saying all these things because they want votes. Somebody else must play an active involvement on an ongoing basis in educating the citizens about the importance of voting, so that come this time, they know that this is the time over which they choose their government for the next 5 years.
Well, I think there's just so much that obviously you've unpacked in a few minutes. And just to talk about voter apathy in a lot more detail, because I think this seems to be the major area of concern. And when one looks at local government, these are day-to-day issues. These are bread and butter issues that impact and affect people's lives. And this is where people should have been interested. But it does appear as if that is not the case. Now, also coming, from the pandemic, we know certain things has obviously changed, but we cannot blame the pandemic for a low voter turnout, because I think all the precautions have been in place. I mean, I went to vote and we witnessed all of that. But looking at the major political players, because I think this is where the problem comes in, because we've seen many people disillusioned because party politics play a dominant role rather than focusing on local government.
That is exactly where the problem is. Hence, I'm saying there's a need for voter education. What is happening is that dominant political role players in the country, those who've been in the space since the dawn of democracy, have disappointed citizens, have made promises that they could not keep. People continue to live in squalor. They continue to live in poverty. Unemployment is rising. Service delivery is not taking place. As a result, voters are saying, why must I continue to vote? As soon as they ask that question, there needs to be a gap that is filled there by an independent body which says you should vote because you are making a choice of government. Voters are saying, we've been voting and nothing has been happening. If you ask them, who have they been voting? The very same person who's been running this country. And then they decide, when they say enough is enough, their enough is to say, I'm staying at home, I'm not going to vote. I mean, in the run-up to the elections, we've had a lot of that. Even during campaigns, there were people who would say, we don't want to hear anything because we've given up on promises by political parties. Some saying, I am not going to vote because I voted and voted and voted and nothing changes. People need to know that for anything to change, they need to change who they vote for. And that was why the ATM went all out despite financial constraints and as far as campaigning is concerned. But we depleted our very limited resources which we get from funding by our own members and crisscrossed the length and breadth of this country, trying to convince citizens and to show them that this is what we can offer. Citizens must be reminded that they have a right to put in a new political party, and if they are not happy with that political party, they put in another one when the next term comes. And they also need to be actively involved in issues of governance, and that can only be done by a political party that is willing to be open and be upfront with them and say, this is what we want to do, this is how far we are with what we want to do. Hence, accountability is one of the most important values of the ATM, other than manifesto, which are just promises. Our values, one of which is accountability, say keep accounting to the electorate, keep accounting to the voters, keep them informed of what the council is doing, of what the legislature is doing, of what parliament is doing, of what government as a whole is doing. That way, you bring them on board. Their participation in issues of governance does not begin and end with them casting a vote, but it continues throughout the entire term of office, and that is what is missing in South Africa.
Well, Nyaniso, obviously we will be keeping an eye out, and we trust and hope that all will go well for you. Just very quickly, before we get to the next interview, looking at the role of parties like yourself, the ATM in the political landscape and also in the local government landscape.
Well, we believe we've got a very good role to play, and that's why we've campaigned across the entire South Africa. We believe that we've got a very interesting and very good promising to the South African citizens, and all we could be given is basically an opportunity by South Africans to say, look, give us a chance, let's govern, and then see how we're going to do it. And that is basically why this is our first local government election. We first contested the national and provincial elections in 2019, and we are represented in parliament as we speak, and since then we've been advocating for change. We've been advocating for the prioritization of the citizens of this country in provision of service, and that is what we are hoping to continue doing after these elections in the local government.
Well, thank you very much for that, and also taking time out and talking to us this morning here on News and Views and all the other platforms that we are coming to you live on this morning. Please take care. Yes, Nyaniso Jeku joining us this morning at the IEC Results Operational Centre, and we will be getting a lot more analysts coming through, players, political players that will be coming through. Now, we know that the Salam Media team has been on the ground, and we have got a team that is on the ground talking to people on the floor, and we know our producers, people like Salailo Makudiri, who's been extremely busy, and he's been obviously getting people coming through. Now, this is a makeshift studio, so you will obviously, viewers and listeners, you'll have to excuse us. It is not in our comfort zone, but definitely we are getting people coming in thick and fast coming through. And right now, in fact, I'm going to be just taking a quick look at this card and the name on the card just to see who has joined us. And we're joined by Thandi Nontenja from the UDM joining us this morning. And Thandi, good morning to you. It's wonderful that you are able to join us. In fact, when I was coming through, I think I recall you being dropped off. And I remember the yellow dress that you were wearing this morning. But thank you very much, and welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, if you could just please get closer to the mic so that our listeners and our viewers can obviously hear you a lot more audibly. Now, looking at the UDM, and I know a lot of interest as far as the outcome of the election is concerned. Just your analysis, how do you see, how has the election gone for you so far?
Well, it is difficult to say at the moment. We can't really say how is it going. We are on the wait and see situation, but the only thing that we can highlight as UDM is that there were so many glitches on these elections. This is the toughest elections that we have ever contested. It started with from the beginning, the IEC, I still believe that they were not well prepared for the elections. I think when they applied to the Concord, they were hopeful that they were gonna win, and they started to relax. But the mistakes that they are doing leaves a bad taste in the mouth. So we have people that were turned away from voting stations. Okay, when they had that last registration weekend, the UDM asked them, are you going to be able to update the voters' roll in 2 days? Because they were closing on the 21st and the registration was on the 18th and 19th. And the response was yes, but it turned out that they were not ready. They couldn't update the voters' roll. Even yesterday, they came up with the story that they have just found 70,000 people that were not on the voters' roll that should be on the supplementary one now, because they had the supplementary. And they said people must go back to the voting stations and go and vote. On going back, a lot of people got there and the MEC 7s are not there. So the IEC this time, we understand it was a difficult period, but they had a lot of mistakes that are costly to the political parties.
Yes, I think one of the big problems that we faced with, and I heard about it, where voters were voting for many years at a particular voting station, and they found that when they got there, their names were not on the voters' roll. And as you correctly pointed out, that the IEC wanted this election postponed, so they weren't adequately ready. But also the key issue here is South Africa has got a potential of close on to 40 million voters. We know there are 26 million that have been registered, but only about 8 million turned up at the polls. Now that is a major concern.
That is a sign that everybody wasn't ready for this. People are scared of going out there and voting because of this pandemic. But the IEC on the other side, they didn't do justice to the whole thing. And the Concord also, the IEC were so hopeful that it's going to be postponed. So were the political parties also, because we all felt that the time was too short and all that. But the justice system failed the South Africans, because we are sitting now here with a drop of what should be voted.
Yes, just looking at the UDM, what are you hoping for in terms of the outcomes of this election?
Well, we are hoping, we did our best under the circumstances. We are hoping to retain what we had, even if we don't improve, but we are hoping for retention of what we had.
Yes, and just looking at the results that have been trickling in, and we see the pattern where the ANC around the 46% mark, the DA around 27%, the EFF 8%. Just your thoughts on the bigger players. Is that pretty much the same, or you think that things may change this time around for the bigger players?
I think it will stay the same. I don't see any change coming into place.
Well, Thandi, thank you very much for that, and obviously taking time out and coming to us here and talking to us at our studio at the IEC Results Centre. We wish you all the best.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thandi Nontenja with us this morning here on the studio, at the studio, and the time is just headed for 9 a.m. We are heading for the news. We're going to go for a break, and when we come back, right until 10 a.m. in the company of our listeners and viewers on the various platforms of ITV, Al-Ansar, Durban, Pietermaritzburg, and also Salam Media on our Facebook and YouTube channel, and also on the audio channels of Salam Media. It's great. It's wonderful being in your company this morning, bringing you analysis, feedback, and results of the local government elections 2021 here in South Africa.